Oh, life comes at you fast, man. Yeah, look, timing, of course. I published today's video this morning, and as I'm editing it, news breaks from Fabrizio Romano, or just Twitter generally, that Frank Lampard is to be sacked by Chelsea today, and they've offered Thomas Tuchel a 4.5-year deal. So this is going to be a really lightly edited video, just me sort of reacting to the news that I think we'd all had rotating around our heads as a possibility for some time now. You know what? In fact, like this morning's video, this Chelsea news video that I did, like I spent some time at the end of the video. It's like an insight saying I'm not sure, that I don't believe it's going to work out, even though I want to. Lo and behold, as I'm recording, news is breaking that it's not going to work out. It's heartbreaking. I'm actually got Twitter open on my computer. I've got, you know, a Gary Lineker tweet saying how ridiculous he thinks it is that Lampard is sacked in this instance. And to be honest, it's very, very difficult. And yeah, I understand why pundits, you know, think he shouldn't be sacked. Like if you looked at the FA Cup, you had Danny Murphy and Floyd Hasselbank both saying, well, we hope he's not sacked because of the situation. And I understand that from pundits, people who like Frank Lampard. And of course, if you watch my channel, you'll know I wanted it to work out, man. If you follow me from the beginning, prior to his appointment, I didn't want Frank Lampard to be appointed. Not because I was adamant he couldn't be a success, but purely on the premise of, I think if it goes wrong, I don't think there's any do-overs. Let's have it straight. It's a completely unique situation where Chelsea's greatest ever player could become manager. It can't happen again. There's too many factors that made this situation what it is for it to happen again. So it's entirely unique, but of course he came in and had a good first season, and it was like a feel-good story with the academy, with the players, you know, the youngsters, the good results, the FA Cup run, the top four. So naturally you sort of gravitate with that and you have some belief. But the truth is, if you look at the results, you're like any other manager could have been sacked earlier. Honestly, I would have thought he would have seen out the season, and to be honest, if you watch my last video at the end, I kind of talk about how even if he isn't canned this season, I was sort of assuming that Chelsea would change managers in the summer, regardless. So it's difficult, man. It sucks. It hurts because, you know, I'm the 31-year-old Chelsea fan who's been a Chelsea fan since I was a kid, and with that I've developed a really sort of close, sentimental, you know, bond with Frank Lampard, I guess. So it's heartbreaking, I'm gonna be honest. But am I surprised? Not really. Chelsea's a business. They've invested a gargantuan amount of money, and you know, all the pundits can disagree with the decision. I kind of, you know, I'm on the fence. I've been saying it for a few videos whether I straight out disagree. And you know, it's just very sad, man. I think ultimately I'm a little bit surprised purely on the sort of the fact what the season is. You look at what's happening with Liverpool. We've got 3 wins out of 4, like I said in the last video. But I think ultimately, you know, the Luton game doesn't come into it. I think perhaps this decision was made a little while ago, and Chelsea were apparently finalising a deal with Thomas Tuchel. 4.5-year contract, apparently, reports are, which just sounds mental. Absolutely mental. But I'm not really overly inspired with Tuchel. I understand why he'd be given the job, because I've spoken about this previously in videos. He speaks fluent English, which is massive. He speaks obviously German because he's German, and fluent French. So in terms of the Chelsea squad, you'd imagine that would be really helpful with our Germans, our French players, and obviously speaking English. He's a good coach. You know, he's Dortmund, PSG. His win percentage at PSG is pretty immaculate. I'm a little bit worried in terms of the fact how PSG were really looking to get him out for a long time. I know Leonardo really didn't like him, and a lot of PSG fans wanted him out. But ultimately, you gotta wipe that away, haven't you? If you know football therapy, and you know me, I don't want to ever be negative. I don't think it's a good idea as a football fan, as a Chelsea fan, certainly as a content creator. I'm not one of these people that do like rants or get super angry. Do you know what I mean? So I see no value in that, and obviously, like Frank Lampard, Thomas Tuchel, sorry. Whoever, you back the manager, and if he is indeed appointed, then of course you have to back him, look forward, and hope it works out. But when it comes to Frank Lampard's legacy, it is sad. Apparently the players were only just told, and it is going to be difficult because a lot of the players signed thinking, he's going to be long term, and they look up to him. But we have to look at whether you were Lampard in or you're Lampard out, at this point now, where everything's changed, you have to look at what he's done for Chelsea. He came in at a time where no one wanted the Chelsea job. No one wanted the Chelsea job. He took the job, he overachieved, he got the funds from top four, and he did a cup run. And with that, he also was at 12 or 14 academy debuts. Whether you wanted him out for a little while, you have to appreciate what he's done and the legacy he's created. He's given confidence, he's instilled confidence into certain players. He's left Chelsea in a good place. Whether certain signings were club signings like Kai Havertz, but he convinced certain players to come. He's built a good squad, which consists of both academy players and sort of now European superstars. I'll be really interested to sort of see what the majority of the Chelsea players, or how they feel about this situation, because I reckon a lot of the academy kids are probably quite heartbroken, understandably. But people like Hakim Ziyech, that Frank Lampard really wanted, Ben Chilwell, Frank Lampard really wanted, fought to bring him in. Thiago Silva as well instilled the confidence. Of course, Thomas Tuchel knows Thiago Silva very, very well, and hopefully that would be a benefit for Silva. I think it was more the club that wanted to let him go than Thomas Tuchel at PSG. It's messed up, man. Well, it isn't. It's messed up because of who he is and what he represents. It's so sad. Like the banner in the Stamford Bridge showing his support. I think Frank Lampard, maybe he's known for a while. He's kind of looked like, I don't know, like he hasn't got the spark. I think maybe that's the main thing, the deciding factor. That he's saying, he was almost doing pull string like responses and remarks in the media, like, we've got to do this, we're doing that, you look at this. He didn't look inspired, and I think since the Man City game, the loss, he looked completely devoid of confidence on the touchline. He looked like he just didn't know what to do. Do you know what I mean? He looked like he just didn't know what to do. And I said that in a match review, and I said that's the most worrying thing. I did match reviews of the Arsenal game and the City game. I said, like, disgraceful performances. I was angry. And I try not to get angry here on this channel, but I was angry. And from that, it was really uninspiring. And I was just concerned, I was worried. And from that, a couple of results. But I think he looks like, from there onwards, he looked out of his depth. And I said it on this channel before. And, concern had seeped in ever since. Or seeped in, rather. So it is what it is. Thomas Tuchel, it just seemed like it was an appointment of convenience. Let's hope it works. Ultimately, I know this is like a generic cliche of late, but it is getting the best out of Werner and Kai Havertz. And the club as an institution, as a business, they made a massive investment in both those players, who both are underperforming. And it doesn't look like, Frank Lampard was rather hoping they'd sort of play into form rather than playing into form. Tuchel has to get the best out of those two players. You'd hope, for narrative and like the soul of Chelsea Football Club, that certain players would keep getting their chance. Because let's have it right, Tammy Abraham, Mason Mount, Reece James, Hudson-Odoi, they're all going to be terrified, that they can keep. I'm laughing because I'm just like on a sort of like manic, uncertain place at the moment. Are they going to think, oh well, the starting 11's 100% going to be Pulisic? I forgot to mention Pulisic, who of course has worked with Thomas Tuchel at Dortmund. Pulisic, Ziyech, and Werner front three. You'd imagine Reece James would keep right back. But that's another question to be posed, man. All these academy kids, Mason Mount, who's been our best player lately, is he gonna go? Is he gonna not play? Is Thomas Tuchel gonna play a midfield of Kovacic, Havertz, and Kante? And I know there's a big split and divide in the Chelsea fan base regarding Mason Mount. Well, not a big split, but there's some people that just don't like him and affiliate him to their perhaps disapproval of Frank Lampard as manager. So that's one thing I hope Mason Mount, keeps his place. But there's a lot of questions to be asked. This is literally me reacting just to reading the news. It's insane. well, it's not insane, to be honest, it's rather predictable, but it's huge news regardless. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this kind of like organic response. I had to do like a reaction video, and this very much is a reaction video, and as things happen, I'll keep you guys posted, so enjoy the football, I guess, and I'll see you later.
You ain't so tough with that bad boy tuck. I'ma get it how I'm living, I'ma walk the walk. Outline my lines, I rap through thought. Body bag the verse, outlined in chalk. In my life seen trouble, hustle on the double. Silence on the trigger like my pick got a muzzle. Yo chick like to guzzle, bad boy stay in trouble. I only love this paper, sorry I don't. I laugh me baby.